So how does one design a rootling anyway? Let's get into it. If you are just popping in and you haven't seen the previous video, yeah, some of these concepts might be a little new to you, and I recommend going and watching the first video before you watch this one. But we're talking about rootling designs. So a rootling is an animalistic nature spirit. They are filled with magic called lumesi, and they are designed with two or more animals. There are two ways to design a rootling or to obtain a rootling. The first is through a coronation, and the second is through a temple. In this video, we're going to start focusing on coronations and then get into temples in a little bit. The first, most important things for you to know is that rootlings have one characteristic that ties them together as a group, and that is their eyes. Rootling eyes are like cutouts of a clay lantern. They can be rounded or swooping and narrow so long as they have points at either end of them, and commonly they will have a little divot at the top. The eye is surrounded by brighter markings that contrast with the rest of the face, or if the face is white, they will have a little outline that distinguishes the marking so that it's clear and we can see it. This is the main thing because I wanted to allow for as much creativity and design as I could, and I needed to find something that would bring them together without limiting different body types and the creativity of the community. The second thing is optional, but when they are displaying their magic, it appears as a flame that can hover anywhere around their body and be controlled at will. It's not burning, but it can have light particles coming off of it. And that magic is called lumesi. Their eyes being cutouts or literally windows into their bodies can be illuminated, shining with magic, as they are filled with magic. They don't have organs, but they can have bones. So if you've got a translucent animal you're designing with, you could have their bones backlit by the magic that they are filled with, if you would like. Another important thing about rootlings is each of them has an earthen gift. Earthen gifts can be plants, or rocks, or minerals, or they can be various organic materials found in nature, like pollen or tree sap. They cannot be bodily fluids, but they can be plant substances, and they do not need to originate from the same place your rootling stem animals come from. Stem animals meaning the animals that are used as the design's inspirations or references. With a coronation, you get two stem animals that come from the same ecosystem. So, like a predator and its prey could be an example of one, like a wolf and a deer come from the same ecosystem, or competing animals, or two animals that compete for the same food source, you know. So these stem animals live in the same place, they are in the same web of life, and you get to pick two of them. They can be combined in any way that you like. It doesn't have to be a deer body with a wolf head. You could find a way to combine the skull of a deer and a wolf and merge them into an entirely new creature. If you happened to be using an insect and an animal, you can combine the insect leg with the animal leg. You can mishmash them however you would like. That's up to the artist's creativity and inspiration. I'm excited to see what y'all do. And they aren't limited to any one kind of animal. You can use corals and microorganisms, so long as the character itself is visible to the human's naked eye. A coronation is a function and I will make a video talking about each of the individual functions and what they do, just to have them all in one place. But we'll talk about coronations here, because it's important to the design guide. So what a coronation is essentially an Elden root, which is one of the NPCs of the Rootling world, or an existing rootling can choose to crown an animal that they know with some of their magic. For a new player, this is free. You can just come and make your first character. For a returning player or somebody who's performing a coronation after they have already obtained a character in some way, a coronation will cost 200 Lumesi points, LP, which is earned through making art of any medium, and it's basically the accumulation of your character's power. You will have a lifetime counter for their magic and a current status of how much they have. Once you reach 200, you can perform a coronation if you'd like to. So your character is basically drawing up magic from within themselves and transferring it to a new animal, and that animal is then becoming a rootling. And there are story prompts for this, so I won't go over all of them. They are on the website, but there's several of them. So, for example, one of the coronation trial prompts is bravery. It's basically asking the artist to depict a scene where their rootling is being brave in some way, and that can be completely up to you. This is depicting the animal before it becomes a rootling. So if you are working with a rabbit for your character, you depict your rabbit being brave, and that coronation trial art qualifies them to become a rootling. Either the Elden root performing it will crown your rabbit with magic, or you can collaborate with one of the community's existing rootlings, and if they want to offer their character to crown yours with magic, then that's fine too. Also, if you have a character and you don't want to use your character to make a new rootling, but you want to create a new rootling somehow, your character can donate or transfer that magic to an NPC, and you can use that NPC to create the new character for you. So the how to begin design step by step goes like this. For a coronation, choose two animals within the same ecosystem. Use features from both of them to create a new creature. Ensure your rootling's eyes match the species anatomy guidelines, which I have covered here. Add naturally occurring materials to your rootlings to be its earthen gifts, according to the Earthen Gifts Guide. All these are linked from the website if you need to reference them. Give your rootling a Lumesi flame with a color that suits it. This is totally up to you, and it can be as deep or as shallow as you want. Once your rootling has been designed, you must decide on words you would like to use for its nature and homeland. These can be descriptive terms for its personality and what location in the world it originated from. So, for example, when my husband made his first rootling, he wrote the homeland as the vast abundance of ground beneath our feet, or of dirt beneath our feet. Don't remember which, if it's ground or dirt, but essentially it doesn't need to be that long. It can be one word. It could be branches, or it could be a thicket, or it could be a descriptive title like the Meadow of Daisies. That's up to you. For story building, you can do what you want. Just be respectful with what you choose. Now we're going to talk about temples and the design doors that are opened to you when you use the temple. So a quick rundown on what temples even are. Temples are ancient structures positioned all over this fantasy version of Earth. They appear in all biomes, and the location and appearance is up to the player. They have one requirement. They must have a central room that is clearly defined by walls and a ceiling and a floor, and a vessel for magic to be poured into that resides within it. Other than that, they could be cut out of a crumbling cliff, overgrown under mossy boulders, floating on a sky island surrounded by clouds, buried in a cave. It could be in the hollow of a big mother tree, or nestled in a field with walls of flowers. You can do whatever your heart desires with the temple. Give it like a 1-word descriptor, maybe 1 to 3-word descriptor of what's surrounding it, and that will be the name of the temple. So the game is pretty new, and some of these things might change over time, but right now the temple has 2 major uses. The first is to create a baby rootling, which can be called a seedling, and the second is to alter the form of your existing rootling. Temple-born rootling tiers open doors to more creativity. In the first temple tier, which is called a kindling, and it costs 400 LP to perform, you get to use 3 stem animals. They can be sourced from anywhere in the world. You are no longer restricted to an ecosystem. You could choose an animal from the North Pole or an animal from the savannah and put them together to create your rootling. Also, the first temple tier allows 1 folktale trait. Folktale traits, things that appeared in stories or fantastical elements like kitsune tails or dragon wings, multiple heads, multiple limbs, without using a qualifying stem animal. Say your rootling has an octopus as a stem animal. If you were using 8 limbs, that wouldn't be a folktale trait. Say you were using a fox and a badger and a crow, and you wanted to do more than 4 limbs, that would be a folktale trait then. The second temple tier is Aurora. It costs 500 LP to perform. With an Aurora, you can use up to 5 stem animals, again, from anywhere in the world, and up to 3 folktale traits. Of course, you don't have to use that many, but it opens up the possibilities if you would like to. And the third temple tier, also the final temple tier, is Parhelion. It costs 600 LP, which is 3 times the amount of a coronation. The Parhelion offers unlimited stem animals from anywhere in the world, as well as unlimited folktale traits. When using the temple, along with the Lumesi points you're spending, you are also going to create a piece of artwork depicting the temple-born trial. There are 4 trial prompts. You only need to do 1. You can do as many as you would like, though. And they all relate to the creation of a new rootling within a temple, and the reason for all the story prompts is for story building. So, the briefing on temples was to familiarize you with folktale traits. So, a quick list of some that I have documented on the website are kitsune tails, multiple heads, dragon wings, multiple limbs, leviathan body. Perhaps you have one in your head right now that you are thinking of, and if you provide reference material for where it's come from, go ahead. I really want people to have fun being creative and just being able to pursue their imagination as much as the confines of a fantasy world will allow. In order to make the game function like a game, there has to be some limitations to work within, but for me personally, I find when the balance has been struck just right, the limitations created allow for more creativity. I always find I have decision paralysis when all of the options belong to me. So, Rootlings creates a template for a world where you can work within a pre-established world with a community of artists and bring in new ideas within that world. I hope you will join us. I will link to the website and the Discord down below. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me through Discord in the questions and concerns or ideas and feedback channels, and I will be happy to answer you. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next